Hi, I'm Birdie Galaxy, and this is the Lunatic Fringe. Welcome if you're new around here, and welcome back to all of my subscribers. Thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed and liked so far. I'm very close to 1,000 subscribers, and I'm so excited about that, and I really appreciate everybody who has left comments and positive feedback and encouragement, and I truly appreciate it. Thank you so much. So this month we have a lot of movement happening in Aquarius, Pisces, and Aries, as well as the opposite of Aries, Libra, when we have a full moon. So we're going to have a new moon in Pisces and then a full moon in Libra, which will touch your Libra and your Aries houses. If you want to know what's happening for you in the month of March, what all of this energy moving into Aquarius, Pisces, and Aries is going to mean for you, stick around. Okay, Aries rising. So we are getting into Aries season. The sun will be moving into your first house by the end of the month. But first, we're going to talk about Mercury. So when we start out the month, Mercury is in Pisces along with the sun. Now on the 9th of the month, Mercury, or the magician, this is the energy of manifestation. This is your ability to make magic, to manifest, to make things happen. This is your mind. Mercury is your intellect. It's how you think, how you go about the rudimentary and fundamental processes of your brain. This is sort of like elementary education. So Mercury is your ability to gather all the resources. The Mercury card or the magician card has all elements in it. So the Mercury energy is your ability to manifest, to make magic, to move forward. So Mercury is moving into Aries, into your first house, Aries. Now, this brings out Mercury is your communication and your intellect. So this is going to bring out the natural assertive nature, your Aries assertive nature in who you are as an Aries rising. Mercury is bringing out that communication. It is also bringing a strong desire for you to express yourself very boldly and very independently. You Aries rising are already bold and independent. That is who you are. So Mercury moving into your first house is really enhancing that desire to express yourself on an intellectual and a more in your ideas, in your thought processes sort of way. Now the very next day on March 10th, we have a new moon in Pisces. So we have the moon, the high priestess. This is the energy of intuition. This is your gut instinct, your knowledge. This is that motherly need to nurture yourself and others. The moon is moving into Pisces, which creates a new moon because the moon is now in Pisces with the sun. So when the sun and the moon come together, for a new moon, they are harmonizing their energies. They're not opposing each other. They're not squaring off with each other. They are harmonizing. So you have the power of the illuminating sun that brings life and vitality and joy and success. And then you have the power and illumination of the moon that brings in your emotions, and it also brings in your natural instincts and your natural need to nurture yourself. So this can open up a period of profound spiritual renewal and some subconscious exploration. This sun is rebirth, you're rebirthing yourself, and the moon is your emotions. So you're having this moment where you can experience a spiritual renewal of sorts, or a rebirth in your spiritual self or in your emotional self. Now this encourages deep introspection, which can have some intuitive insights. So in your first house, you might be having some emotional upheaval about who you are and how you express yourself independently. So that emotion is going to come out, which encourages you to explore your own self deeply and why you are feeling this emotion. And this can really lead to some profound awareness and some emotional healing about who you are as an individual, how you identify, how you show up in the world. Now on the very next day, on the 11th of the month, we have Venus, the Empress. This is abundance and nurturing and fertility. Venus brings out our values, where we really find ourselves drawn towards our expression of love and where we want to really push our values or show our values at. So Venus is also showing up here in Pisces, in your 12th house. Venus in Pisces in the 12th house brings this deep emotional healing and spiritual connection. Venus shows love and compassion. So this can really bring out a time when you are experiencing this deep spiritual rebirth and renewal in your 12th house, the house of spirit, the house of where we shed our skin before we move into a new cycle, a new cycle around the zodiac. So this brings out love and compassion. This love and compassion can flow abundantly through you, through this introspective period into who you are, and then can show on the outside when people see you and get this new impression of you. You are experiencing sort of rebirth of how people see you. And it feels great to you. You're valuing it. You value this rebirth. This rebirth is going to bring you value, bring you personal value with Venus there. Now on the 19th of the month, we have the spring equinox, or the sun moving into Aries. Now Aries, you may already know this. Of course, you are the first sign of the zodiac. You are the cardinal fire, the initiating spark of life, the life force that initiates everything, that starts everything off. So when we have the spring equinox, this is technically the astrological new year. This is the beginning of a whole new zodiac cycle. When the sun enters Aries, the very first sign of the zodiac, we start all over again. So this is the spring equinox. And what is the spring equinox? That's the first day of spring. That is rebirth, renewal. It is a time for a new growth cycle. So on March 19th this year, now it's important to know that sometimes it's the 20th, sometimes it's the 21st, but this year, 2024, in the Pacific time zone, which is where I am, and that's where all of my predictions and readings and horoscopes are based on, is Pacific time. So on March 19th, the sun also moves into Aries, into your first house, along with Mercury. Now, when the sun, which is rebirth, which is the initiating spark of life, it is joy, it is vitality, the sun moves into Aries, your first house, and this brings a time of new beginnings, fresh starts, new ways of looking at the world, as well as new ways of expressing yourself in the world. This is a time of personal empowerment and really showing up, really asserting your self-expression, coming up with this fiery energy that is propelling you towards being a confident and enthusiastic person and being comfortable in your own skin, showing up as your authentic self. This is a time for rebirth and renewal. You have a new moon in your 12th house, allowing you to shed all that old baggage of self-destructive behavior, of unhealthy psychological patterns, of enemies or creating enemy energy with someone, isolation that leads to depression or anxiety. Shed that skin, because you're moving into a whole new you with all this planetary energy in your first house, Aries. Now, one last opportunity to really feel this spiritual rebirth and renewal on the 22nd, when Mars or the Tower also moves into Pisces, into your 12th house, bringing that intense Mars energy to your introspective period of spiritual subconscious exploration. This is really motivating you. You are energized, and you are channeling all of these spiritual pursuits or these creative endeavors and these ways of exploring your hidden desires and getting deep into your subconscious mind and figuring out what it means to be a spirit self, to have a soul separate from your mundane self, separate from the new skin that you're stepping into. What is it that you take with you regardless of what you look like on the outside? Now, on March 25th, the moon will have moved all the way over to Libra. Libra is the opposite of Aries. So for you, Aries rising, Aries is your first house. That is you. Libra is your 7th house. That's you plus a partner, or you collaborating with another individual, either as a romantic partner, a life partner, a business partner, some other individual that you are sharing a common goal. Perhaps you're sharing resources with. This is you plus one. So when we have a full moon, that means that the sun and the moon are in opposite houses and they are opposite signs, and that energy is separating. They're pulling apart like a rubber band pulls apart. And if you don't look at this as an opportunity to find balance between these two areas, then that rubber band is just going to keep pulling apart and eventually it will snap. But if you find a way to balance, then you're not going to break the separation there. You're going to stay together and find balance. So in your instance, Aries rising, the balance is coming between you as an individual and you as a partner. So what is this doing? This is highlighting. The sun illuminates, the moon illuminates. So you've got two different areas being illuminated. This is really bringing up the themes of Libra, which are harmony and balance in your relationships. And it's highlighting this tension between you and your need to express yourself as an individual, as an independent, fiery Aries, as well as your need for the individual or the needs of your partnership or your collaborative efforts to maintain a healthy relationship with someone. So ultimately, this is urging you to find some balance or some negotiation between how you can express yourself on an individual level and maintain that individual independent identity while also collaborating with a partner or becoming part of a union or a partnership. Now, I do want to mention one last thing that is taking place on April 1st, and that is Mercury will be going retrograde. Now, I always find it humorous when Mercury goes retrograde on April Fool's Day because it just feels like a double whammy of be cautious, be careful, check twice, measure twice, cut once, look both ways 3 or 4 times before you cross the road, take all the precautions and all the superstitions, don't sign any important papers, don't make any new contracts, don't say anything that you could ultimately regret that can maybe never be taken back. So on April 1st, Mercury, which is in Aries, in your first house, will be going retrograde. Now, Mercury the retrograde only lasts a couple of weeks, but there is this shadow period a couple weeks beforehand, which is why I'm mentioning it now, so that you can prepare for this well in advance in March. So with Mercury, the magician, going retrograde, what this means is it takes that energy that it has been moving forward with, producing, and forces you to reevaluate, to reassess, or to redefine the situation. So for you, Aries, this could bring up challenges in the way you communicate in your self-expression and your self-identity. This can lead to some misunderstandings and some impulsive decision-making on your part. So be careful if you're trying to completely change your identity. Don't be really impulsive like you have the tendency to do, Aries. And I sympathize. I'm an Aries sun, so I understand this energy of just diving in head first without really thinking about it and knowing that, you'll just deal with the consequences later. Don't do that during a Mercury retrograde. You can really regret that. I know, I've experienced it. I've made some impulsive decisions during Mercury retrograde that have come back to bite me in the ass. And that is what will happen. So be sure that you are reassessing any personal goals and really taking a deep dive, giving yourself time for this deep dive and this introspection. And don't make any hasty decisions or any hasty actions until after Mercury goes direct. Mercury will go direct April 24th. So this is a 23-day retrograde. That's actually quite a long time. It's almost a month. So be aware that your personal expression and your communication from about mid-March until about mid-April, or really the end of April, you need to be cautious and careful of what you say and how you say it. Be cautious of any major decisions that could be ultimately life-changing. Okay, Aries? So, Aries rising, that is what I have for you for the month of March. Happy spring equinox. I'm excited for a whole new beginning, a whole new cycle. I am a gardener, so this is a time for me to really start working on my outdoor plans, and the sun is coming out. I don't live in a very snowy area, but a lot of places are really socked in with snow, so yay, spring. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Help me get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm so close, and I'm really excited about that, and I will see you next time, Aries. Bye.